Well, hello and good evening, IBL fans. Welcome to IBL On Deck here, episode 5 in this early July episode. Noah Smith, Dylan Baker, and Ryan Eakin here to bring you through with an exciting episode today as we'll be welcoming Glenn Jackson shortly. Gentlemen, how are you doing today?
Not too bad, Noah, and I'm very excited for today's episode with Glenn Jackson, a very passionate guy and a fun one at that.
Absolutely. And Ryan, good to see you back. It's been a few weeks off for you, but we get to bring you in here, and of course, a Barrie Baycat nonetheless.
Absolutely one of the great all-time Baycats, 100% one of the big-time fan favorites. There's no one better to talk to than Glenn Jackson.
So without further ado, we'll get right into things, and we will welcome Glenn Jackson to IBL On Deck for this episode. Glenn, how's it going?
I'm doing great, Noah, Dylan, Ryan. Thanks for having me, gentlemen. I appreciate it, man.
We're excited to have you on and talk to you about your time in the IBL. Now, Glenn, you got started with the Baycats in 2006, coming into the league in 2005. You played in Toronto for a little bit. You came back to Barrie in 2015. Mm-hmm. What did your time as a Baycat mean to you?
Oh, I mean, it means everything. It means a lifetime of friends, great memories, battles with Brantford, the community that people, that people don't see in the starting lineup. And of course, the 5 championships. There's nothing better than that. There's nothing better than that. And the clubhouse. There's just one big bucket intertwined with just greatness all over, and that's how I felt with my time in Barrie. Even though there's always going to be tough times and pain when you want to reach certain goals, and I feel like I went through that there, not only maybe as a person, but growing into a young man and being a better teammate and person overall. So I many transitions, but I couldn't ask for anything more, especially with the boys.
Glenn, you came into the IBL in 2005 with Guelph. What was that season like, playing with the likes of Scott Diamond, Frankie, Sean Riley, and a few others?
Oh, I mean, it was great. Thanks to Hinton for signing me and Matt Spatafor for getting the ball rolling there. But it was great to have Scott. We only got a couple small tastes of him, but it was special to see. Obviously, Showtime is unique in itself. I mean, from himself, Frankie Hare, great leader, Coach Tebow, just great people overall. To be a part of with Guelph, they gave me a great start, and I had to learn there to earn it, man. You can't just walk in and step into a championship lineup. So it was a really, really humbling learning experience for me as a young man, getting to go in there. I think Ryan Aziz was there. Mike Alotti was there as well. I think Aziz was the rookie of the year that year. And then, of course, we beat, Barrie came in and beat us in 5. I think we only got the 1 dub with Scott Diamond. And my good old buddy Biss picked me off twice that game. God, I can't stand that guy. No, I love him. But short memories, but good ones, because I'm still friends with a lot of those people today. A lot of great community. Nobody throws, PA is definitely top 3 BP throwers of all time. So a lot of great people overall. They always treated me nice there, and enjoy the food after games.
Of course, a good start to your career there in Guelph, and over the course of your career, so many accolades, but being named to the IBL Top 100 Players list with so many guys that you've played with, not only in Barrie, but everywhere else in your career, what does that mean to you, not only just to be on it, but to be on it with so many of your friends?
Oh, it's extremely special. It was a great night. Had my mom, dad came out. Really, really great time with a lot of great people. To be a part of that list was special to me. It was, sort of clarification that all the miles and all the driving and all the extra work that I put in. My dad always said it's not easy to now drive to play a game and compete after working, but just believe in yourself and do it, and you'll get it done. And just blessed to be a part of that list. It's so humbling, and like I said, puts a stamp on my career. Maybe if I'm 6 feet, I get a chance in the draft and all of that stuff, but that's just life. That's reality. But it was definitely a nice stamp on my career, and made me feel part of a special group, which is great, because I'm never satisfied. So to be a part of that, it was nice to have that chip on the shoulder.
For sure, you are one of the most deserving guys to be on that list.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, of course. You spent a lot of time in the IBL. How did you adapt over the years to continue being a successful player in such a good league?
I think it came down to just a mental strength, having a vision. So many different waves of seasons, over my career there, depending on what life was presenting itself with or what my inner motivation was. But when you dig deep and really want it, you'll be ready for it. You have to prepare the whole day. I'm very lucky with the Blue Jays and my manager John Santana over the years letting me sneak out and play. I'll be honest with you. very, very good man, and it allowed me to play the game I want. But I think it just came down to mental strength, preparation, being ready to go, taking care of your body. It's a lot of sacrifice of your time, but I enjoyed it. There's nothing better. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If I could still do it, I 100% would. Believe me, if I still had the time and everything to get after it, I would still play. I believe I could play until I'm 45 if I was able to take care of my body and do all the things necessary. But I got young ones, and I got all these great kids I get to coach now, and I'm okay with that. And I can't let my softball team down. So, it was good times, but just got to grind it out. That's what it is. It's a grind. Ask any of the guys, man. It's not just because of youth. Some of the best players in the league can get things done, and they might not even lift the weight, but I guarantee you their mind frame and they know how to approach the game comes into effect, and that's a big part of it as well. A lot of big guys, guys come in, think, oh, it's going to be a cakewalk, but it's really not. As you guys know, once the playoffs start, it's a whole new ball game from the beautiful umpires to the fans and all of that. So for me, just a lot of hard work, mental determination, man. Sorry, guys. Bet you that's my daughter trying to call.
After that one season that you had in Guelph, you came to the Baycats in 2006. What went into that decision to join the Baycats in 2006?
Yeah, well, for me, it was okay. Let's play some baseball. I still wanted to play ball. I was debating East York Senior, but I just wanted to give it a shot, and Barrie won, and the Leafs already had quite a stellar squad. I don't think I would even had a chance in that lineup. To be honest, coming back, they were at their peak or their pinnacle. But it was just wanted to be a part of something special. I went down to the pits, watched them win the championship. It was very enticing. Knew some guys in the team, and wanted to give it a shot. And definitely a different year with Sharpie that first year. And I think we lost in the first round after trying to repeat, and then obviously the next year was a little rough. But those were the good times, man. That's me still early 20s, and not everybody's married, and we're still getting to know each other, and maybe enjoy the Barrie community a bit more. That's when I had that freedom. So whereas it was some tough times, I also felt like those were probably some of the best times, the most freedom we had.
Earlier on, Glenn, you talked a little bit about being able to coach and of course, with the Ontario Blue Jays organization. How special is that? Toronto Mets organization. How important is that for you to get out there and to help some of the younger players trying to make the exact same career steps as you?
Oh, I love it because for me, it's I've got a passion for it. I always bring my A game. One thing I focus on is communication and leadership and empowering them. It's not about whereas I may be passionate on the field and very intense. I'm not like that with them. It's a different way. I enjoy trying to help them grow and realize where they're at. I coach a bunch of 14, 15-year-olds, growing up, but just trying to pass every bit of knowledge I can to them from, what it's going to take on the educational standpoint, for what real work you have to put in to have a chance, how it's important to make those right decisions now. And you got to either invest in it now, or, as you guys know, it's a young man and ladies world these days. You want to get that MLB contract. You better be good at 25 to 27, or maybe you don't get as much as your value. That's how the game goes. So in the end, I just want to motivate these kids. I've got a lot of them I've had the pleasure of coaching anywhere from 5 to 8 years, and it's a very special opportunity for me, and it allows me to vent my passion for still wanting to lace them up and run around in center and swing the stick. And at the end of every practice, the boys let me get a couple swings in, so it can be gratifying. But no, in the end, I just love having an impact. It's what I'm meant to do. It's honestly what I'm meant to do. It doesn't feel like a job at all. Just like my job with the Jays, it's baseball. Like, what else could you ask for? My whole life is full of the game I love, and it's brought me everything in my life. That's positive, and I'm thankful for that.
For sure, and it's awesome that you've been able to stay around the game for such a long time, and now that you're able to pass on your knowledge to some younger players that are looking to make it in different leagues around the world. Now, you talked about it a little bit earlier, how you were much more involved in the community when you were a little bit younger, and you stayed involved in your second tenure with the Baycats. You're widely regarded as the most popular Baycat of all time. What does that praise mean to you?
It means that, being myself paid off. Whereas I'm a different man in the clubhouse, and, I'm thankful for guys like Spatty, Kyle DeGrace, Matt Proctor, Angus Roy, God bless them, great leaders in the clubhouse. The person out of it is a humble man that just seen how brave an opportunity was. I never got to play in the big leagues, but Barry made me feel like I was something special. I mean, how often do you get to have sign autographs on a Saturday night, man, and play in a really nice field and have a bite to eat and some beers after, and everybody shows you appreciation. And, as you get to know people over the years, it's like family. And, one great example is just, I'll never, when we won in 18, just seeing all the, some people in tears on the bus and coming on the bus and giving everybody hugs, like, this true passion, those people sacrifice their time. So it's just a, very, very special experience, and just truly blessed to be a part of that and everything that came with Barry. Very thankful for that. Even more the second time around. The second time around felt like a more of a, more mature version and more adult version with my family coming to games. 2015, everybody driving down. My cousin Tremaine came down on his motorcycle. My boy Daryl came down. Carolina was pregnant with Jeter at the time. I still got great video of my daughter cheering. So I got so many great memories and pictures thanks to Backlund, and great messages I've archived over the years, 10 to 12 years. I go back, it's sort of makes, I'm not a crier, but if I'm ever feeling lonely, I just got to look in that archive and all the great messages, and that'll uplift myself in a heartbeat. So I'm just a very lucky man, and I'm still only 37 and got a lot of great things to do. So I, hope to continue to do those things on many levels until it's over for me.
Glenn, one of your best seasons in the IBL came with the Maple Leafs in 2013. And that was the team that had Showtime come from Guelph. Walt Berry was on that team too. Just how interesting was it playing on that team, coached by Toppoli and Thibault?
You know what? It was fun. It was. I grew up at the Pits, right? That's where I played my first ever game. That's where I grew up playing with growing up with people like DeGracie. Played with my little brother Bruce. So, growing up, seeing him grow into a young man alongside just the aura of that park. But that was a very big motivational year for me. It's a year I left, and it was my fault why I left, man. It's nothing against nobody. That's just how life is. Sometimes changes come, and had a couple kids on the way, and I decided, maybe it's best to go back to the city. I don't regret my time leaving the Leafs. My dad got to come out more, sit on the hill. I got a lot of people in the city came to watch me play. A lot of kids that came to watch me. So it was a great experience. Tops is a great dude, man. As I got to know him, whereas we may have butt-headed over time, still my friend. That's just on the field. Off the field, he's a great dude. He'll do anything that he can for you. I believe he's still the glue for that organization. The past 10 years, nobody really knows that. Coach Thibault, I love as a coach, man. Similar to Angus with his trust within you and believing in what you bring to the table, but also able to be honest and upfront. If you're not playing well, maybe you got to sit today, and that's tough to do when you're friends as well. But I thought that him and Angus did that well. And I mean, Showtime, nothing better. I mean, great person, great player. Just everybody's always on him, right? The lights are on, and so always nice to see Showtime put on a show, man. Especially in the Pits. I mean, BP. I don't even know why he took BP, man. And Walton Berry, great to know him over time. The Maras, love him. Merrick Deska, great people. A lot of great people that have unfortunately passed too, that I've got to be around. But that was a great experience, and I'm thankful to have that year. I was extremely motivated. I think it was third in MVP voting that year. I was just in a different way, and that was one of those years where I sacrificed a lot to get to where I needed to that year and push myself, sort of similar to the end of 18. And I'm proud of that year and thankful. And every time we played Barry, I definitely had a chip on my shoulder, but in a positive way. Just extremely motivated. And unfortunately, we didn't win, and Barry didn't win that year, but they did the next year, and left a brother crying at his house. But that's life, man. That's life.
Absolutely. Glenn, one of the more popular things you're known for is a fantastic video clip that went viral of you after the 2015 championship. It even made it onto Tim and Sid. Can you talk just a little bit about that and the emotion going through your head?
Whew, yeah. I mean, I remember that day. It was like a misty September night, and I had BP and whatever, but like Spatty's like, man, you just don't seem the same, sort of like that feel it in the air. Like I just knew it was coming, and we put that 6 spot up in the first inning, and I pretty much, put it into the can after that. I was just looking around and getting ready for it, and I can still close my eyes and remember that night running in from right field. I can remember that one. I can remember the one running in with Cowan, Bedu, even when I was, with my stupid broken wrist, I can remember running in from the bench. But, just overall, just great to be a part of it, man. It just an amazing interview. It was out of the blue. That was the purest. I'll never be able to replace that moment. That was that was the most purest, moment of my life, and a great moment. I still woke up from Angus's at 6 that morning and got home to work somehow. Oh God, Jeter found me. Got home from work and got that time. Just be quiet, okay? Just be quiet, and just a great moment. I think that's what I'm known for now, man. I feel like I'm an F-list celebrity because of it, and it pumps people up and motivates them. But it's also a great moment in my life. And my daughters are in the video, and just a time I'll never forget that night. I'll never forget that night. It's just a great night in my life, and I'm thankful for that interview, and for Tim and Seta. Sometimes I see him at Bond Park, McAuliffe, with his son Cameron, and it's not even about talking about that. It's just about a love. Sid's a good dude as well. So once again, thankful, very thankful.
Absolutely. Well, we're running out of time here, Glenn, but we thank you for coming on. It's absolutely a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, Noah, Dylan, Eek. My pleasure. If I can ever do anything for you, gentlemen, just let me know. And if the Jays ever get back, man, I'll take care of you there as well, and make sure we get out there and save you guys a couple bucks, man.
Awesome. Thanks, Glenn. Appreciate it.
All right.
Glenn Jackson there, longtime IBL player, of course, with the Barrie Baycats, Guelph Rose, Toronto Maple Leafs. Gentlemen, I'll start with you, Ryan. Always a pleasure to talk to Glenn, one of the more fantastic personalities around the league.
Yeah, and talking about that 2015 championship, I mean, there's not a guy in the league that wanted to get that championship more than Glenn Jackson. I remember that night as if it was yesterday. He was having the time of his life, as that video absolutely showed.
Absolutely. A fantastic community guy. You talked about his coaching and how he just loves to help out the younger generations. Dylan, what does that mean for a guy if you're a young player and you get to see that kind of emotion from a coach?
It's something special, Noah, and if you can see your coach get really passionate about the game with you, it adds that extra motivation for you, and you want to get to a championship a little bit more. And Glenn is a guy who's very passionate about the game of baseball, and he loves getting involved in the community. So seeing him coaching these young players, I'm sure adds that extra little bit of oomph when they're going for a championship.
Now, before we end things off here on this a little bit shorter episode of IBL On Deck, we'd like to bring up a graphic that the IBL posted on their social media pages earlier today. It shows the most home runs in a season in IBL history, and we'll look at the top there. First of all, you're going to see Sean Riley's name a lot on that list in that 2013 season where he had 21 long bombs. Brian, I'm going to start with you, and I'm going to pose the question, do you think in a 36-game IBL season we will ever see that number beat?
I think if Jordan Castaldo plays in the pits next season for the Maple Leafs, that's not a lock, but if it does happen, I think he can absolutely break that record. Left-handed bat in the pits is something to, be afraid of, but that's going to be tough to beat. I mean, that 2013 season, if you go back to it, him batting third, Waltenberry batting behind him, that was the Bash brothers of the IBL, and I don't think it's going to be easy to have that happen again.
Absolutely. I mean, I believe the stats, if I remember correctly, was a home run roughly every 6 at-bats for Riley that season, which was just absolutely fantastic to think about. Dylan, how about you? You think that record could be touched even by Castaldo at the pits?
I don't know, and I know Jordan Castaldo's a very talented hitter. I didn't get to see him as much as you did, Ryan. I think he's going to put up some phenomenal, crazy out-of-this-world numbers at the pits if he does go play there. But I don't think that a 21 home runs in 36 games, if that's what the number was, if I remember correctly, will be beat in the IBL. Now, with expansion teams potentially coming in the next few years, there's a good chance that the season grows in length. So I'm sure that we'll see 21 get beat eventually as the league continues to grow. But 21 home runs in 36 games is going to be a very tough mark to beat, and I don't think anyone can get there.
An interesting mark to look at there in that graphic. Of course, you can find it on the IBL social media pages if you haven't had a chance to look at it yet. Ryan, Dylan, thank you for joining us today, and we'll finish off the episode there. A great episode with Glenn Jackson, of course, and we will look forward to seeing you on the next episode of IBL On Deck in 2 weeks' time.